Excellent. Welcome to today's session. I am your holistic nutrition practitioner. My name is Luca Simmons. I'm glad to be coming your way here from Treaty 7 territory. It is just past 9 a.m., so I have lots of stuff to cover in today's session. We do these on the first of every month at 9 a.m., where I take you for a tour of what is on offer in the Good Food Network. It serves two purposes. Number one, to give you a tour of what is on offer if you're not in it, so that you can say, oh, I want access to everything she's talking about, especially if you're going to say yes to wanting to support brain and cognitive health. We are really focusing on cognitive health this month, as a matter of fact. And so I look forward to supporting you in your journey on this for sure. Now, it can also serve as a second purpose. Once you join, you're going to want to know a little bit about how to find what it is you're looking for. So we're kind of doing we're hitting two birds with one stone here today. It's a terribly violent expression. Okay. Yes, I know. I'm also steeping a cup of tea. So if you see me looking over to the right, that's what I'm looking after, because every girl needs her cup of tea. So, hi, my name is Luca. I'm your holistic nutrition practitioner. Graduated from CSNN in 2014, the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. I love what I do. I like super, super duper love what I do. And I didn't realize until fairly recently. Well, I think I've known all along, but it's just really come into focus how my entire life has led me to be doing what I'm doing. So I do this thing, the Good Food Network. I see clients one-on-one. I wrote a book. When I shower, uh, I am one half over at Histamine Haven. And here at Good Food and You, it's not as clear as what Histamine Haven is. Histamine Haven is very clearly supporting those who have histamine or mast cell mediated issues or a combination of both, whether or not they have a diagnosis. And that is very clear. But what is it that we do here at Good Food and You? I think of it in a couple of different ways. I think of it as a way to demystify real food, make it accessible to all, and living in a post-inflammation kind of world. Living in a post-histamine kind of world, actually. Like living beyond all of these sort of limiting things. And this is kind of what you come out to at the end. That's what I want Good Food and You to be. And that's what this Good Food Network is about, is to give you some of those tools so that on a day-to-day basis, you can know, okay, well, for example, we have history of dementia in my family on both sides, aunties and uncles and grandparents. And so I don't want that. So I want to nourish my body to prevent the development of dementia, which happens to run in my family. Like, I really don't want that. So a lot of what we do in the network is that preventative piece. It is super unsexy, but it is the day-to-day work of how to feed yourself, how to feed the people at your table. And whether you're here for cognitive health or any other kind of health issue, it's all real food. And it's all about how to just help us get through our days and make it okay with the real food. I rarely do restrictions over here. Yeah. Anyway, you're here, you don't need me to go on and on. So I want to take you through what is on offer this month in the Good Food Network. So we're going to jump over to, yes, here. Okay. We're going to go to this. Pretend you didn't see that. So when you log into the network, first, when you register for it, it's $35 a month. P.S. You stay as long as you want and you leave when you're like, I've got everything I need. I feel pretty good. What the Good Food Network serves is a one-stop shop that has kind of a few different things. You can come at the Good Food Network in one of a few different ways. You could be a former client who needs to revisit some of those concepts that you and I have talked about one-on-one. That's actually the principal reason why I built the Good Food Network. The second reason might be, I actually can't afford to come see you for one-on-one sessions, Luca, but I would really like a monthly or a weekly kind of thing that I can tend to go to school. It's not really going to school, but I can dedicate an hour a week and I want to know how food can help me. Well, this is also for you. That's the kind of thing we've built. And the way that I look at it is when you join the Good Food Network, commit to 1 hour a week. Commit to 1 hour a week, the same time every week. Sit down at that same time at your computer and dive into the content. And you can make your own journey through this. You can mix and match different ideas, different classes, and different ways to piece together what it might look for you to go through the network. And everybody does it a different way. I should send a poll out to those who've been in it for a while and say, okay, how do you use it? What sessions do you go to? How do you attack the content in there? So let me take you through what the network looks like. So first, when you log in, this is kind of what you see, and it can seem like I don't see the network. The network is a program. So you click on programs here on the left, GF network, ding, that's where you are. And it takes you right to the modules. So the one thing to know is when you're in here, put your cursor over top of whichever section you want to go through, and it'll make you scroll through that section. I'll maximize the view because I think that gives us a much better view. Yeah, more complete. So there's many different modules. It's broken down into, I suppose, 4 sections. The first one is kind of the admin stuff. The second one is live sessions. That means like today's session is a live session. We have at least one a week. Some weeks we have 2. We have pre-recorded content, and this is stuff that you could just access and go watch whenever you want. Think of it as like a Netflix binge for your health and wellness inside guru. And then there's written content, which is that's just written content. You print it up. So let's take you through what each of these sections are. In this first section, Start Here Kitten is where you're going to go. This gives you a rundown of what exactly is in the network and how you can make your way around and how you might want to customize it to what it is you're looking for. We also have a schedule and a checklist that is new every month. Let's take a look at that. If you click on it, it takes you right to it. Here is what we are doing. We have a live session each week. Some weeks we have 2. We actually have 2 here. Oh, this needs to be updated. We actually have, anyway, we have 1 a week. Don't worry about it. I'll update it. You can go see the updated version when you get in there. You'll also be able to print it to keep it handy at home so that you can refer to it and circle the things you want to do when it's the live stuff. Now, we also have a checklist. I want you to use the checklist. Once you're in the network, print this up, and this is going to help you prioritize how you want to move through the month. At the end of this this hour-long orientation, you're going to know what each of these pieces are, and you're going to want to prioritize which ones to do first. So I've got space in a column here on the left that you can write down numbers of first one you want to attack to the last one you want to get into. And so these are each of the things you can look at, right? So we've got the schedule and worksheet. That's the module we're in right now. I'm checking it out. I'm going to check it off, and I'm going to say I printed it, and that was item number 1, and already I'm done. I know. I'm very much about you feeling good. I just want you to know that. We have a main topic on the brain, module all on the brain. There is a real food reset video. So this is a 40-minute video or so. What do you mean by real food? It is all about exactly what you're reading. You can print out the handouts, and there are recipes that come in that module. So if you just want to print it and not even watch the video, okay, do that. I don't care. You're the boss. There is also a Vitality Brain class. This is the only spot you'll find it. It's 3 hours, this one, because it's so dense. It's broken down into 13 modules or 13 videos. So take your time over the course of 2 to 3 weeks to watch this class. Make sure you print your handouts and your recipes. Yes, more recipes. And then you'll start to understand why the brain is so important to look after and how intricately connected it is to your gut, to your nervous system, of course, and to your stress response, to your adrenals and your thyroid and your mood and your reproductive cycle and your sleep and your mood and like all of the things. Yeah, it's amazing. You are marvelously made. So this is a class to help you marvel at the magic of being human. Then we have a scratch cooking class. Yep, there's a 90-minute cooking class in each month that you can access whenever you want. This month we're doing Vietnamese takeout. I swear to God, you are never going to get Vietnamese takeout ever again. We have little meatballs. We have a Vietnamese pickle. We have a dipping sauce. We have the noodle bowl scenario. We've got ideas on how to even make, is it this one? Oh no, that's a different one. Anyway, yeah. So Vietnamese takeout is going to be super delicious. Jump into it. You print up your grocery list, your shopping list, and your recipe. And then when you've got everything, you get in your kitchen, you put our computer up on a tablet or up high so that it doesn't get splashed. And then you join my daughter and me in our kitchen for a Vietnamese cooking class. Yeah, I did these with Eliza. We had a hoot. Then every Thursday morning, we have a session called the Food as Medicine sessions. They happen at 7 a.m. Some people come and join live, which is lovely. But if you can't join live, you can catch the replay, and those replays also show up in the network. We have a live class every month. That's a 90-minute class. It is happening on Wednesday, February 14th. It's called Protecting Your Brain as You Age. So you can watch it live with us, or you can catch the replay once it's done. We also have recipes for the month. There's a handout on how to align yourself with the seasons. And then there is the weekly challenge every week. This is always new. So you can also print this. You download to your computer and print it from your downloads folder. And every month, we also have a worksheet. And the worksheet is kind of your main to-do. It's your cheat sheet for what you want to do when you want to look after the brain. So all of my clients get a worksheet. We always build a worksheet and we put those to-do pieces in there. And then I tell my clients, go tape that to the back of a cupboard door in the kitchen. And then it's like, you don't have to remember all of those pieces. When you've got the worksheet on the back of a cupboard door, it's all written out for you. You don't have to remember it. You're outsourcing the thinking part. Yeah. Eventually it becomes just how you move through your days. But this serves a couple of reasons. So I love this for a couple of reasons. You get to choose what your main goal is this month. Okay, I really want to support cognitive health because there's dementia in my family. I want to make sure I don't get it. Or there's a lot of neurodivergence in my household and we all really struggle with anxiety. I want to know how we can nourish ourselves so that we can better make it through the day. Maybe that's your goal. Be really specific here. What do you want to address this month? Why are you working in the Good Food Network? Well, I'm looking after my mom who's just been diagnosed with dementia, and I want to make sure that when I bring her meals, the meals are going to be really nourishing and hitting all of those things that she needs. Okay, that's a great main goal. Or I want to learn more about the brain. That's also a great goal. Figure out what your goal is this month. That's going to help you pick and choose what are those sessions you want to attend. Now, in each of these sessions, I always end with action items, your to-do, if you will, from the content just presented. There are two that are maybe not, you don't have action items, like the cooking class, you're really just cooking. And the real food reset module it's more concept. It's more like trying to put together how you think about food. But for example, in the Vitality Brain class, there's 5 things you could do at the end of the class. At the end of the Protecting Your Brain as You Age class, there's going to be 3 things for you to pick from as your to-do items. So as you get those items and you're catching some of those different sessions, you're going to choose, is it something you want to do regarding food? Is it something you want to do regarding lifestyle? And then you're going to jot it down in there. So for example, in the Vitality Brain class, we talk about, is it that one? I haven't looked at it in a while. I think we talk about the microbiome. So then, for example, for microbiome, for you, you'll jot down, I want to look after my microbiome. So for that, I'm going to eat variety of foods and make sure I have lots of colors in my plant foods. And I'm going to eat in season more. Awesome. You have more handouts to help you do that. But now you've got your action items. And the goal of this is that, you're in the network for 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever. 2 years from now, you're like, oh, it's winter. I really want to work on my brain. I'm going to pull out those worksheets that I did with Luca when I was in the network, and it's going to remind you of those things to help you bring them back in. So jot down what it is you want to tend to and what are your action pieces, foods I want to feature and why. There's a weekly food challenge. So this week we're talking about ferments. Okay, fermented foods, add in fermented foods. Okay, you can say why. It's really good for my brain, for neurotransmitters. I give lots of reasons why on the social media and inside the network. So really get detailed here and keep it's like journaling the to-do pieces. Write everything so that in 2 years you can come back and know, oh yeah, I dropped off the ferment train. I got to bring the ferments back in. I'm going to go down to the light cellar. I'm going to pick up some sauerkraut. I'm going to bring it back into my meals this month. Good call. So make sure you use these. These are going to make you use this network to the best of its capacity. When you're done, I'm going to tell you up here, up top right, it says mark completed, I think. Just a second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you can hit mark completed. And that then makes it so that when you go back in to log into your program, oh, it says completed. Oh, I've already gone in there to print it up. I don't need to go back. So it's a way for you to keep track of what you've attended to and what you haven't. So once you've done the work in that module, mark it completed. It doesn't matter to me. It's more just for you for that completion feeling. And so that next time you log in, you're going to be like, oh, I don't need to go in there. I did that. Because you mark it completed, you can still view it. I just want you to know it doesn't make it disappear. So just hit the view button, you go back and it's the same module. Okay, let's go back to our modules. Now we have a main topic on the brain. And so this explains a little bit more of why and how nutrition can support the brain. Go through and read that. It's just reading material. And it's more just explanation of why we're doing what we do in the network this month. This is everything to do with your network subscription. So again, that's the administrative side. So it gives you instructions on if you're changing credit cards, if you want to pause the subscription for a while, if you want to gift it to someone, all of that kind of information is in that module. So go through there to answer those questions. Now we've got those 3 different versions or 3 different sections of the Good Food Network. Okay, 4 because there's the admin section. But the 3 parts you're going to want to get into, there's the live stuff, there's the pre-recorded stuff, which is kind of on demand, like Netflix, like Disney, like, I don't know, right? Like PVR stuff that you've recorded. And then there's the written content. I'm going to tell you a little secret. Get started with the easy stuff. Go into the recipes. Okay, I want the recipes of the month. Here are the recipes we are sharing in the month of February. We've got gremolata, creton, beef red Thai curry, bacon chicken liver pate, and brain fuel fat bombs. Oh, okay. Here are some recipes that you can print up. And then once you've printed them up, you're super done with these, so you mark it completed. Ding. Look at that. It took you 3 minutes and you've already done one of the, how many modules are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 modules. You're 1/8 of the way through. Completed. You're welcome. There's also a weekly Good Food Challenge we're doing in February every week. So I talk about it on the social media accounts, which it's really hard to do anything on social anymore because it just doesn't get seen anymore. So I'm really pulling back over there, and I've moved everything I used to do for the free social media stuff into a paid thing called the Good Food Network. All the stuff I used to do for free, if you're like, I miss Luca, I miss those things that used to show up in my feed when I go on Facebook. Yeah, you have to pay for it now because it doesn't show up in the feeds anymore. So, for example, this week on my social accounts, I'm talking about fermented foods and how they're good for the brain. And then what I do, so this links out to the actual first post where I talk about 3 reasons why. But in the network, you get a bunch of ideas on how to maybe make something using fermented foods. Yep. And then earlier challenges as we go through the weeks of the month, they're going to start to push down the line, and you'll get the newest one up top. So this is a really great kind of added bonus to joining the network. You get a little bit more than what you would see on the social networks for sure. Going back to the written content, we also have a whole module on eating with the seasons. This one is changing on March 1st. We've got one more month exploration into the winter eating with the seasons. So winter is here. Let's make like the trees and bears and hibernate. Oh, don't start. Shh. There's a whole video there to explain why eating seasonally is important. And then here, you've got a handout that can tell you different ways to eat with the seasons and different things to think about to bring into the season for yourself. So here, let's make it a little bigger so you can see there's a chart. So what I usually tell people when they come into the network, one of your first things, print this up, put it on the back of a cupboard in the kitchen or on the fridge, and then for the next season, feature these foods on a regular basis. They are foods that are absolutely in season. They're also foods that really support the organs of the season. The main ones in winter are kidneys, according to traditional Chinese medicine. But attached to the kidneys are your adrenals, so they support the adrenals as well. The corresponding organ in the TCM world are bones. So I've included foods that support your adrenals, your kidneys, and your bones, and seasonal foods as well. Things that you should be able, fairly straightforward to find at this time of year at the grocery store. Then we've got superfoods, teas, herbs and spices that you can add, and then a couple of different things to think about for the winter season. So that's something you can access when you join the network. So yeah, content is available till the end of day, February 29th. So make sure you print it. Once you printed, you hit mark completed. Oh, it's a good feeling of satisfaction. Go back to my program. All right. So I've just taken you through the written content. You've already done 3 of the 8 modules available. Like that took you all of 10, 15 minutes maybe. That's amazing. Now you've got 5 left. Okay, we did the easiest ones first, only because that feeling of satisfaction is so good. The rest of the month. What if you did a combination of a few different things? I'm going to give you options to go through. So in this pre-recorded content, this is the on-demand stuff. We've got a whole video about 35 minutes? Let's look. Oh, it's 30 minutes, not even. What exactly do you mean by real food? So this is a really easy module where you're just listening to, okay, what does real food consist of? Is it a jar of Patak's butter chicken sauce? Well, it depends what's on the list of ingredients on that jar of Patak's butter chicken sauce. Are there ingredients you can't spell on your own without having to refer to the package? Dimethyl sulfate? Is that real food? I don't have it in my pantry. Not real food. If it's not real food, what is it doing? We cover that in the class. So it's a 30-minute module. That's an easy one to get into. And then, of course, there are some recipes and handouts. There's so much in each of these modules. So if you're like, I'm not even going to watch the video, I know what real food is, Luca. Okay. Make sure you print things up because there's some really great resources in here. Just Eat Real Food, some resources, some swaps, and then a recipe to help enhance what it is to be real food. Golden milky tea, super simple, really yummy elixir. If this is your first elixir, you're welcome. Your life will be changed. And when you're done this module, you click on mark completed. I've already done that because I've already watched it. Yes. Next, going to that pre-recorded content. That was the first one. What do you mean by real food? Then we've got the Vitality Brain class. These Vitality classes were ones I used to run at the Light Cellar. They used to be a little bit all over the place. Now I've streamlined them all and they're really straightforward. And there's a process to them. How do you know you have brain issues? What is negatively contributing? What does the system need? And how do we look after things? 5 ideas to move forward. So the brain class really dives deep into a lot of different things. If you have questions on how to look after the brain and why it might be related to the gut health, this is the class for you. You know, this class by itself, when it's going to be available, which is going to take me a week to put together, this is going to be by itself $60 or $70 in that range, because this one's quite dense. The network is $35. So you're getting a super good deal if this is the only piece you want to access. There's a bunch of other extra bonuses, but you get to pick and choose what it is you want. So do that. Vitality Brain class is in there. We also have that cooking class I was talking about that my daughter and I did back at the start of the pandemic when she was in junior high at the time. She's now graduated from high school. But we had a really good time doing these classes with a junior high group from the school she was at and people across Canada. We kind of opened it to a lot of people to see if they needed something for the kids to do on Friday afternoons because they were missing interacting with their peers and making some fun things. So we did this as an option for the kids to do in junior high. So this scratch cooking class I recorded at the time, we just had a riot. My husband pops in sometimes and he's cracking jokes. Our dog is barking through some of these classes. Our friend Jack had stopped by to help answer questions and help with any of the administrative stuff. We just had a riot. So set yourself a Saturday afternoon with a teen that you love and spend the afternoon making some Vietnamese food with us. And then dinner is served. Now we've got the live sessions as well. So we've only got 2 options here for the live stuff. Today is the orientation session. I don't even have it in there because once it's done, and if you know your way around the network, you don't super need to attend this one. But we have every Thursday morning, food is medicine sessions. They start at 7 a.m. Alberta time. They run for half an hour, and we dive into very specific topics. And in each of these sessions, you have 3 to-do pieces potentially. And I encourage you to only pick one. So food is medicine topics. We are covering Alzheimer's and dementia. Is it type 3 diabetes? Have you heard that rumor yet? The rumor is true. Next week, 2 weeks from now, today, we're going to be doing 3 best practices to support cognitive health. We're going to get into vitamin K2 in your brain. We're going to get into inflammaging and your brain. What does that mean? And how is it impacting you? And what can you do about it? So yeah, they're about 30 minutes in length. Every time we have a class, the replay is going to be put here. So you can join us live, or you can just log in later and come watch it. I'm going to tell you, you want to come live. Number 1, 7 a.m. If you're getting breakfast ready and this is me chattering in the background, you're going to win because I'll tell you, your microphone and your cameras are off. You can't even turn them on. I don't even let you in these sessions. And then as we're recording it, you get to just be in the background making your cup of tea or coffee and scrambling your eggs while we're chattering about Alzheimer's and dementia. Is it type 3 diabetes? So that's the kind of thing you can do when you join the network. You just come and hang out on Thursday mornings, and then you've already done a half hour of work that week. Yeah. And we've got them each for the month, and then the replay videos are going to be here. Okay, awesome. The other live session we've got is a 90-minute class that's going to run on February 14th. There's one every month. This month's class is Protecting Your Brain as You Age. So this is a really important one that if you have cognitive decline, or if there's brain fog going on, or if you have a family history of dementia and Alzheimer's, this is the kind of class you want to attend. And I will add to that, if you have type 2 diabetes or blood sugar balancing issues, honey, cognitive health needs to be looked after and protected. We're going to get into how do you protect your brain as you age. I got a little secret to tell you. You're probably thinking to yourself, holy crap, Luca, how come there's like so many of these different things? There are different ways of presenting the same ideas. Spoiler alert, there's a lot of repetition in the Good Food Network. So if you're sitting there thinking, I have to pick from 50 things of what I want to do. No, you have to pick from 10 things that are repeated in 5 different ways. The to-do work is always going to be the same work. If you're the person who needs more reinforcement to understand, oh, hang on. Do I need help with this? Do I don't want to commit to doing ferments because like, yeah, it's good for my brain, but I don't super get it. So like, I'll get around to ferments someday. And then 6 months go by and you haven't added ferments in yet. If you're the person who would add ferments only because now you understand that this symptom, this symptom, this symptom is telling us that you're heading in the direction of having brain fog and cognitive decline issues in 20, 30, 40 years, these are the telltale signs now. Put in the work right now and do the ferment thing. Now you're going to know why. You're going to be more realistically putting that piece into place. And now you're actually going to do the work to help prevent that cognitive decline piece down the road. So if you want to know the why, this is the place for you. If you don't do the work unless you know the why, then the Good Food Network is for you. You better come join us. Yeah. So protecting your brain as you age is the class we're going to do this month. So I hope that you can join us. Once the class has run, there will be a replay here. It'll be available. You'll be able to see it there. And then sometimes there's, well, of course, there's always a handout. And there will also be some extras there for anybody who wants to take the work a little bit further. So these are all the moving parts. We've got those live sessions, just went through. We've got the on-demand stuff, the pre-recorded content that you can access whenever you want. And then we've got written content. So now that you've got those three pieces down pat, I want to bring to your attention one area you're going to want to use. Once you join the network, the thing to do to keep on track of what is happening is that there's a chat function. So here on the left, you see the modules, you see chat, you see sessions, you see my progress. You can click through all of these and then fart around. I'll tell you, you can't make anything disappear. But click on that chat, which you can also access up here in the little chat bubble, or you can access through the messenger at the bottom. There's lots of different ways for you to access this. I like to access it through here because everything is here. I want to see the chat. When you first log in every week, you know, if it's a Monday night that you commit to every Monday, pop in. There's always a hot tip that's pinned at the top here. So the hot tip to get the most out of the network, set aside 1 hour a week, same time every week, stick to it. So there's lots of different little pieces here in the chat. I'll tell you, there's an image at the bottom for each, so it makes it easy to find. I'm a visual person, if nothing else. And there's updates in here. So, for example, earlier this week, there's changes. What is disappearing at the end of the month? What is staying the same from month to month? And what is going to be new in February so that you could take yourself through and print up stuff before it disappears. So there's reminders there. So when you first log in, go to the chat first thing. It's going to tell you a lot of different things. So, for example, last week, posted this link about canola oil being linked to brain decline. So lots of really interesting research in this article, and we're finding out that canola oil is a big contributor to a lot of this. Oof. So then I, of course, give you options on what to do instead in the network. And yeah, and then we've got people asking questions. So when you have a question, you can pop it in there too. So make sure you check the chat here so that you can see what's happened this week and what you want to figure out. Oh, I put that on there. Oh, Luca. Okay. Those are the modules. Now, what I want to do, we're going to stop the share. Hi. Okay. And then I just want to grab something. I realized I did not grab it earlier this morning. Where is it? Network. There we go. Okay. So now I have questions for you. Now that you've seen what we're doing, how do you know the network is for you? Number one, are you interested in protecting your brain as you age? You should come. Okay, that's really like, I don't know anybody who would say no to that. No, I don't want to protect my brain. That's not going to make you decide if you want to come in the network. These questions will, though. I got my top 10. So I see clients one-on-one, and, you know, I've been doing it for 10 years. When I see clients and I have these red flags that come up in conversation, these tell me this person is going to need some support when it comes to brain and cognitive decline. Are you ready? Don't cry. This is who should join us in the network. Do you yourself or somebody in your family have a history of dementia, Alzheimer's, or any other type of cognitive decline? You should join us in the network. Do you struggle with mood or anxiety? I'm going to add the flip side of that. Here's the other piece of that. You may think, no, like, I don't know who isn't sad in the world right now or finding it difficult to move through. Flip that around. Are you constipated or do you have persistent diarrhea a lot? That also tells me your brain is potentially at the long end of issues that are not working well in the body. It's going to be on the receiving end. Yeah. Like 20, 30 years from now. Yeah. Mood, anxiety, constipation, diarrhea they are very similar in the body biochemically. So if you're like, no, I don't struggle with anxiety. Oh my God, I have super loose stool all the time. I'm actually a really nervous person. I don't have anxiety. Okay, cool. I don't want you to label anything, and I don't want you to put yourself in a box either. But do you find yourself saying yes to either of those? Then you will get benefit in the network. Do you struggle with brain fog? That's another way to think of that cognitive piece, or the brain is being impacted. Yeah, brain fog. Finding answers in my brain sometimes, especially when I'm really stressed. Where's the answer? Is that you? Yeah. If you yourself or somebody at your table is working through neurodivergence, you will find some really great pieces in the network this month. Not to fix the neurodivergence. Heck no, you are not broken. You are evolving. And I think it's marvelous. But I think you have deep nutrition needs that can support you to make it through a lot of this a little bit easier with your emotions a little bit more protected. When there's neurodivergence at the table, emotions sometimes feel like they're really on the surface. And it makes moving through the world a little bit difficult or tricky, or feeling like you're a very sensitive person. Yeah, you sure are. And I think we're supposed to be, because we're evolving to be that. And also, I want you to make it through the day and still be able to contribute to the world, because your light is bright and we need you. We talk about how to feed you. Do you have blood sugar troubles, type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, even more? You're going to want to join us in the network, because when there's blood sugar balancing issues, the long-term impact can be felt in the brain and nervous system. It can also be felt in the cardiovascular system, and the thyroid, and it can impact a bunch of different things. But in particular, we're going to link the blood sugar piece to brain cognitive health this month. Have you ever had a concussion or been in a motor vehicle accident or had some kind of head trauma? I sure have. Car accident? Yes. Bike accidents? Yes. Skiing accidents. Oh my God, sledding accidents. Oh my God. I lead a good life. I sure have fun. Number 8, do you have persistent low energy and a lot of fatigue? That can be brain fatigue. It can be energy, like physical energy to get tasks done. Is your resiliency, is your flame, did it used to be like a big flame this big and now it feels like it's a flame this big? You're going to want to come in the network and join us, because we're going to help that flame burn a little bit brighter so that you can function and have a better, more steady supply of energy, whether it's cognitive energy or physical energy to get through the day. Do you have any type of first of all, do you have a main diagnosis of something? Or have you been diagnosed with something? Does that diagnosis involve your nerves? You're going to want to come join us. Does that diagnosis involve your brain? You're going to want to come join us. That's the neurodivergence bit. That's the degenerative conditions that are associated with the nerves, things like MS, things like Parkinson's, things like ALS. So come join us in the network. Number 10, do you have chronic pain, any type of pain or nerve and tingling, especially in extremities in your hands and feet? Yeah. We will have some content to address some of this over the course of this next month. I have more questions. Those are the top 10. Here's some more. Do you have an autoimmune condition, histamine or mast cell activation issues? Those are always going to be in the list, because they are indicative of inflammation in the body. And histamine and mast cells show up in a body that's had a lot of inflammation for a really long time, typically. So when there's inflammation, and if it's there long enough for histamine and mast cells, those can drive long-term impacts that now affect your brain and cognitive health. So any type of inflammation. I think that it's so interesting to me. A lot of people think, oh yeah, I have inflammation because I have pain in my joints. Yeah, for sure that's inflammation. It's not the only one. Eczema is inflammation. Anxiety is inflammation. Acid reflux is inflammation. Super, like 2 days off every month because of my menstrual cycle is inflammation. Autoimmune conditions are all inflammation. The one common denominator in chronic conditions is inflammation. Now, inflammation is the body's response to do repair. So I love it. But the fact that you're having to do repair tells us your body's working on something. So if we support you and we turn off that inflammation and we get at the root and we just make the inflammation stop, it means we've fixed the root piece. And if we do that, now you don't have to turn on inflammation. And now you're not going to drive those things that show up 20, 30 years down the road this month in the brain. Do you have, oh gosh, I have a lot here. So here are some of the conditions that are indicated that are tied to the nervous system. So anxiety, depression, mental disorders like bipolar depression, personality disorders, OCD, generalized anxiety disorder, bipolar. Oh, I said bipolar already. Those are all ones I've had in the past. Schizophrenia, any kind of degenerative nerve conditions like ALS, Parkinson's, MS, multiple sclerosis. What about things like brain cancer as well? We're going to be talking about how to deeply nourish the brain. You'll get lots of good content in this month. Chronic pain issues as well, like fibromyalgia, endometriosis, chronic fatigue syndrome. Things like seizures and epilepsy as well. Autoimmune conditions that are impacting your brain. Trigeminal neuralgia, nervous system, right? That's all being impacted. And if your memory is struggling, I'm going to add another degree to this, insomnia. If insomnia is around and you've taken regular routes of addressing sleep and they're not working, then it could potentially be a brain issue. So nourishing the brain and reducing inflammation really helps support a return to sleep. And the stuff we're talking about this month in particular, oh God, and last month actually, yeah. Autism, ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, all of these things. That's so fun. IBS, IBD. Oh, okay. So now you're conveniently sad. That's great. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. These are all the main things that if you've said yes to any of those, you get benefit from joining us in the Good Food Network. So we've got lots of stuff at the ready. If you have any questions and you're like, I think I want to join this, or I've been thinking about it for a while. And so question number one, have you been thinking about this for a while? Question number two, do you have an hour a week? Do you feel like you have it in your schedule right now where you're going to commit a week? You have the space right now to say, yeah, every Saturday morning for an hour, I'm doing me. I'm going to look after myself. I'm going to learn some of these things. Okay. So far, if you've said yes to those two. Number three, did you just say yes to any of the conditions we talked about? Especially if there's cognitive decline in the family. You should come join us. In that hour that you dedicate a week, you can get through the Vitality Brain class, print up all of the recipes, and watch the replay of that 90-minute class where we're going to talk about protecting your brain as you age. And that can be your $35 worth. You've got way more than $35 of content in your pocket, by the way, at the end of that. Or if you're the person who wants to join us on Thursday mornings live, because it's going to coincide with your breakfast time, perfect. Now you've got 2 hours total, and you've got 1 more hour to fill, or 2 more hours to fill over the rest of the month. Then you could do the cooking class on a weekend, and now you got your money's worth from the network. If there's only 2 of those Thursday morning sessions you want to catch, because the others you're going to concentrate on maybe really getting into the kitchen and trying recipes, you get to build this the way you want it to be. It's self-directed, which is why the price is low. I'm not sitting here going, poke, poke, did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it? This comes without a mom. Playing the part of poke, poke, coach, coach. You're doing it. I'm so proud of you. That part comes at a higher price. Oh, I'm belittling that part. I love doing that part. But the reason the price is so low here is because you have to get yourself in action and do the work. So, do you need someone to light a fire under your butt? There's going to be notices in the chat function once, twice, actually mostly 3 times a week of things you could do that week. So use that if you need something to light a fire under your butt. And set yourself 1 hour a week where it's going to be the same hour every week and dive into the content. If you're sitting on the fence and you're like, I think I want to join, but I'm still not sure. Now you need to book in with me. So I'm going to drop a link below in the replay, or you can also just say, send me info on meeting up with you for free. I will send you the link so you can book in at your convenience. We can have a conversation, figure out if this is for you. You can join any day of the month. It's not just open the first day of the month. It's open as soon as you register for it, you have instant access to everything. And the first week, if you go in for a week and you're like, oh, it's not what I thought it was, and you want your money back, I will give it back to you. No questions asked. So you get a full week to try it on, essentially for free. Okay, you had to put your credit card in and pay for it, but I'll reimburse you and I'll pay the extra $3 it costs me to do that because I'm pretty sure you're not going to want to get out of it because there's really good stuff in it. I'll take the hit. Don't worry. It's like super low holds barred. Like it's really, I've set this up to be so easy. Yes, it can be this easy. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that's it for this February 1st. I wish you a delightful month ahead. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below or send me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for joining this recording. I'll stick around for anybody who is here for the orientation. If you want to have a little visit and questions about the month ahead, just stick around. Take care, everybody. Salut, à bientôt.